Good evening. Welcome to Smith Station. My name is Alexander Quispe. As many know, a Big Four accounting firm, KPMG, settled with the SEC to pay over $8 million for violations of auditor independence. KPMG broke auditor independence rules by providing prohibited non-audit service, such as bookkeeping, and expert service to affiliates of companies whose books they were audited. In response to these violations, the PCAOB released a council release asking the public to help come up with ways to improve auditor independence, objectivity, and professional skepticism. Today, I have Earl Johnson of Nicholson Oil, spokesperson of PCAOB, Colin Brennan, and Miles Pulitzer, partner at PwC. We plan to discuss the pros and cons of the council release, in particular setting term limits on auditor engagement. Let's begin with Colin Brennan.
Hi everyone, my name is Colin Brennan. I am the PCAOB representative today. First thing that I want to say about audit rotation is that auditor independence, maintaining professional skepticism is the main goal of the audit firm rotation. It helps to promote the objectivity of auditors. New people are not tied down to what they done in the past or how their relationships went with the partners at the companies in the past. And it's easier for new auditors to identify issues and bring up discussions if there's anything going on during the audit.
That's interesting. Let's hear now Mr. Pulitzer.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on the show. I definitely agree with a lot of things that that Colleen was saying. Really, a lot of the pros for the concept review and auto rotation really make a lot of sense. I know that in my experience, that the pressure of independence can be a very challenging thing, and I think starting with new clients more and more and not becoming as friendly with your client would definitely take some of that pressure off. Overall, though, I think there are some cons with the auto rotation. I think that working with new clients every once in a while can make things somewhat inefficient. Sometimes the long-term relationship with the client can make things a little more, can make the environment a little more friendly, make it a little easier for us to do our jobs. And in most cases, I think that, especially here at PricewaterhouseCoopers, we've been able to keep that independence strong, even with a good lasting relationship.
For sure. Lastly, we now have Mr. Johnson.
Ma'am, Mr. Pulitzer, you weren't really singing a great tune at the beginning of that, but then finally you started coming over and seeing the way I feel, okay? I represent big oil, and I export more barrels of oil this side of the Mississippi than any other company you can imagine. I'm telling you right here, as a true American patriot, this cannot pass. I can't believe that you would even consider shortening that. I need my auditors. I need them. They know what my firm does. They build a good relationship with me over the years, and I'm able to portray what I do in my business a lot easier when I know them better, okay? You're going to switch them out. You're going to bring in some new yuppies. I'm not going to know anything about them. And I'm over here. You're going to make me pay probably 10 to 15 cents more on the dollar, and I won't put one copper Lincoln on top of my payable hours. It is ridiculous. That's just how I feel, and I prefer Earl. Thank you, ma'am.
We might apologize, Mr. Earl.
Mr. Johnson, thank you for your very honest response. We feel very bad for you to have to spend a little bit more money on the new auditors. But it's our job at the PCAOB to have the public interest at heart. And we believe that audit rotation only there to minimize the independence problem that we have today.
You know what, I have to agree with that point. No one really does feel that bad for you. You're going to pay for those audits regardless. You'll sleep at night. I have to agree with the points you were making. I think in terms of the audit profession, the public's interest is the most important. But again, there are some cons with the 7-year rotation. The education part of a new audit is very time-consuming. When we take on new clients, learning those business processes can be quite challenging. So I do have to understand where Mr. Earl here is a little concerned.
Thank you. I'm concerned. It's a serious concern of mine that you guys are not only trying to strip me of the familiarity that my auditors have adapted with me, but you're also sitting here telling me that I don't care about the public. I care about the public? What do you mean I don't care about the public? They buy my oil. It is great oil. I'm telling you, I've never had one single complaint come across my desk in a long time. I'm just saying, if you're going to sit here and tell me that my audits are now going to be more expensive because I got to deal with strangers that I don't even know too well, and now I got to sit here and make new relationships, that's ridiculous. That's just absolutely ridiculous. I just can't see your point, ma'am. Sorry.
Thanks, Mr. Earl. We will take a short break and commercial from our sponsors. Welcome back to our discussion. We now have time to hear closing remarks from our guests. Start with Mr. Pulitzer.
First of all, I want to say thank you again for having me on the show. I think the underlying theme here that we can all agree on is that independence is very important in our line of work. And unfortunately, the standards of independence in the recent years hasn't been up to par. I do think that changes do need to be done. I'm just not so sure this rotation idea is the best way to go about doing it.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson.
Earl. My auditors are professional skeptics, and the only thing I'm skeptical about is this limey underside of an alligator over here keep flip-flopping, agreeing with her, agreeing with me. I don't even know what he agrees with at this point, but I agree that something should change, although I do respect you, ma'am. It's going to be the fact that I need to sell more oil, and honestly, if I'm over here spending so much more money on my audit, that means I'm not going to be able to spend money on my operations. And you're really cutting me down, taking me out the knees, and we don't go down like that. That's it for me. Earl
Thank you,
Johnson.
Mr. Johnson.
Thank you. Yeah, Earl.
Mrs. Brennan.
We have the public interest at heart, and we owe it to the public to maintain independent objectivity and professional skepticism. We would love to hear from you if you have any more comments on this topic.
Thank you, Mrs. Brennan. Thank you to our guests for coming on the show. We'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Thank you.